All right, this is One Last Midnight. Welcome back to another episode of Valheim. Today we're going to look at 10 things you shouldn't be doing inside of Valheim. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Tip number 1, do not build away from the water. I know, this looks really tempting, right? A big, huge, flat plain area which you can set up your base on and have plenty of room to build all of your little houses. The problem is, you're far away from water. Water travel is huge in this game because everything is an island. And so you're going to have to travel by boat at some point in time, and being next to water will only help you out. So make sure you find yourself some location next to the ocean so that you can start your base there. Tip number 2, not making a shield. A lot of people ignore having a shield, but the shield in Valheim is pretty overpowered. Not only do you block attacks, but if you time it right, you can also set off the parry. When executing parry properly, the enemy will be knocked back and stunned momentarily, allowing you to do not only increased damage, but also allowing you to get in that extra attack. Timing is everything on parry. You have to make sure that you execute the parry right before the creature hits you. Tip number 3. Not having the resting buff. I know, I'm horrible at this. When I'm out and about, running around, exploring, I always forget to stop and get the resting buff. Don't do that. Always have the resting buff on. Make sure that you have the resources on you to be able to make a campfire and place a campfire down anywhere. You do not need a workbench. Just sit and relax next to the campfire until the resting buff appears. The rested buff gives you 50% health regen and 100% stamina regen, and it also increases the amount of experience that you gain while the rested buff is on. Make sure to break down your campfire before you leave so that you have the resources to make another one. Tip number 4, not using fire to keep gray dwarves away. Gray dwarves hate fire. They'll run away from you if there is a torch or a campfire placed down. Now, you will have to watch out because they will start throwing more rocks at you, but they will not come and attack you if you're carrying a fire or are close within the range of a campfire. This is especially effective at night when there are tons of gray dwarves out and about. Just make sure you stay away from their ranged attack, otherwise they'll pretty much leave you alone. Number 5, not making a forward base to process your ore. Look, transporting ore in Valheim is slow. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have a cart or a boat. It's going to take time to be able to move the ore from one place to another in order for you to be able to process it. And I understand, we're all attached to our main base. And I like having everything at the main base. But honestly, it's just not practical. Because you can't transport raw ore or processed bars through the teleporter, you have to transport them either by boat or by cart. Look, save yourself the time. Just make yourself a forward base with a furnace and a kiln. Have a fully loaded workbench and forge at your base and be able to process that ore into goods at a different location. And then move the finished goods back to your home base. Number 6, not using existing structures. All over your map in Valheim, you'll find these abandoned structures. They come in all shapes and sizes and forms, and some are pretty broken down, while others, like this one, look pretty good. It's almost 100% ready to use as a resting spot. It only needs a bed and a fireplace for you to be able to have a ready-made shelter. Don't ignore these buildings. Make sure that you always use them when you can. Just fix them up, put down a fire and a bed, and you're ready to go. Number 7, not having the correct armor before you go into the next area. Look, this might be common sense, but you're not going to want to go into the swamps in leather armor. You're just not going to be able to survive. So make sure that before you go into the next area, you have the appropriate gear. Luckily, the game hints at what type of armor you should be having before you go into the next area. Number 8, not using existing resources. What do I mean by that? Well, I see a village that has a lot of wood that's available to me if I decide to break all of this down. So instead of whacking on a bunch of trees to get wood, I can harvest wood from this area. You just need to place down a workbench in order to reclaim all of these existing resources that are available for you everywhere throughout Valheim. Number 9, not using Stagbreaker inside of burial chambers or crypts. Stagbreaker, and later when you get the Iron Sledge, are the best way to be able to do AoE damage inside of crypts and inside of burial chambers. So make sure you have either Stagbreaker or the Iron Sledge inside of these crypts and chambers, because it'll make your life so much easier. Because nothing's more satisfying than wiping out several mobs with one smack. And lastly, number 10, and this should be absolute common sense, but always sleep at night. Monsters are more abundant and tougher at night, and really, there's no reason that you should be fumbling around in the dark. It only takes 20 wood to make a very quick shelter and bed for you to be able to get a good night's rest. And also set a spawn point. So if it's dark, just make yourself a quick little shelter so that you can sleep the night away and wake up in the morning. Alright, well that was it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'd love to have you in the community. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below. And make sure to hit that notification bell. That way you know when I go live and when I post new videos. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.